Good morning, girls. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we were studying the characteristics of information at various levels, and we covered the first type of information or first characteristic, the first level, which was the strategic level. Next, we come to the tactical information or information at the tactical level. The next level down is the tactical level, and tactical planning and decision making takes place within the guidelines set by the strategic plan. Tactical information will be mostly internal, with a few external sources being used. Internal information is likely to be function related. For example, how much downtime a production line must allocate for planned maintenance. Now, downtime, what does downtime mean? Now here they are talking about maintenance. Okay, so whenever there is maintenance work going on in our machine or in a production unit or in a department, the uh, the regular work that goes on has to be halted or stopped or paused for some time, okay, until and unless the maintenance is complete. So that time which is wasted due to the pause for maintenance is known as the downtime. Okay, so tactical information relates to decisions such as information such as the number of hours of downtime in a production unit. Okay, then tactical information is used by middle management employees when managing or planning projects. Okay, so middle management tactical level is also known as the middle level, because uh, at this level uh, the most of the management decisions, management activities are done. Okay, so planning of projects and managing them is done in this level. The time scale is usually at least between 6 months and 5 years. Okay, so depending on the scale of the strategic project, so the type of project that we are planning, or the uh, type of decision that has to be taken can vary from 6 months to 5 years. So it can be a long term plan or a short term plan, depending on the type of project that we are discussing about. Then circumstances vary, but a small project may have a tactical time scale of between 1 and 6 months. Okay, so there are some projects that are smaller than the ones that which discussed here, the strategic projects. So these smaller projects can vary from 1 month to 6 months. Tactical plans have a medium level of detail and are very specific. They deal with such matters as who is doing what and within what specific budgets and time scales. Okay, so the basic type of tactical plans are, or the majority of tactical plans deal with this kind of decision, or answering questions like what, who is doing what. Okay, so which person in the organization is responsible for what activities, and uh, what are the budgets that have been assigned to them, and what are the authorities that have been given to them, and the timeline within which they have to do those jobs. These plans have medium scope and will address details at the operational level. They will generally have specific objectives and be geared towards implementation by operational level employees. Okay, so these decisions are or require an input of information from the operational level or the lower level. Okay, tactical information helps middle level managers allocating resources and establishing control to implement the top level plans of the organization. So this is also a very major activity that the middle level managers or the tactical level managers have to perform, which includes allocation of resources or decisions relating to allocation of resources. What does allocation of resource mean? Assigning how much resource and which resource is to be used in which activity. Okay, and establishing control to implement the top level plans of the organization. Okay, for example, information regarding the alternative sources of funds and their uses in the short run, opportunities for deployment of surplus funds in short-term securities, etc. So these are examples for what type of decisions are to be taken at the tactical level. May be required at the middle level of management. The tactical information is generally predictive, focusing on short-term trends. It may be partly current and partly historical and may come from internal as well as external sources. Now, what does partly current and partly historical means? Some part of this information that is used to take tactical decisions is from the past or derived or as an experience or derived as a or retrieved from the databases that we store, and some part of it is happening presently. Okay, and can be from both the sources, that is external and internal sources. Okay, next we come to the operational information. The lowest level is operational, and operational planning takes place based on the tactical plans. So we created the plans, we took the decisions, and these decisions are then actually implemented at this operational level. Okay, the lowest level of management or workers in an organization implements operational plans. These may be section leaders or foremen in a large organization, or workers such as shop assistants, waiting staff and kitchen staff, etc. in smaller businesses where there is no supervisory level. Okay, so operational level usually comprises of the main supervisors and the staff working under them. The time scale is usually very short, anything from immediately, daily, or at most a week or month is established here. Okay, so here we saw that maximum 6 months to 5 years of planning is done, but here a more short term basis of planning is taking place, like what is to be done immediately or on a daily basis or on a weekly or monthly basis. Okay, results of operational work will usually be passed upwards to let the tactical planners evaluate their plans. Okay, so the results are also evaluated as the work is progressing. We do not need to wait for long time in order to judge the valuation of work. Then operational information relates to the day-to-day operations of the organization and thus is useful in exercising control over the operations that are repetitive in nature. Okay, so basically day-to-day operations take place here, and any operation that has to be performed again and again is done at this level. Since such activities are controlled at a lower level of management, operational information is needed to be by the lower management. For example, the information regarding the cash position on day-to-day basis is monitored and controlled at the lower level of management. Similarly, in marketing function, daily and weekly sales information is used by lower level managers to monitor the performance of the sales force. Okay, so this is a very simple example of how the operation information works, or the information at the operational level works. Any kind of day-to-day activities or transactions that are done on a daily basis or a weekly basis are dealt with in this level. It may be noted that operational information pertains to activities that are easily measurable by specific standards. The operational information mainly relates to current and historical performance and is based primarily on internal sources of data. The predictive element in operational information is quite low, and if at all it is there, it has a short term horizon. So any kind of predictive means expected or forecasting, okay, which has not actually happened yet. So this kind of information is not used in the operational level, because here we deal with practical information, the practical facts and data that are used in the organization on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so these are the three levels of information that we saw, which are portrayed in this diagram. So the top level, middle level and the lower level, and the type of information that are used in each of the level are. So tactical information deals with the top management as well as the lower management. Okay, but operational level information is basically dealt at the lower level, and strategic management is dealt at the top level. Okay, the why we have drawn this line extending to the second level as well, because some part of the strategic level strategic information comes from the middle level and is also used in the middle level. Okay, that's why we have extended this till here, and we have extended the operational information up to a little bit up to the middle level. Okay, is that clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so next we move on to the 5th unit of your syllabus. Now this is the last unit, and we'll start with the first topic, which is the DFD or data flow diagram. Okay, here. Okay, can you see the slide now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So DFD or data flow diagram. What is a data flow diagram? Have you all ever studied what data flow diagram is?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so basically a data flow diagram is a picture of the movement of data between external entities and the processes that go on with that data and the data stores within a system. Okay, so we you may have drawn flow charts. You may remember, have you studied in school? You may be taught flow charts in computers? So flow charts are also similar to data flow diagrams. Here the only thing different is that here we mostly concentrate on the movement of data that is happening in the diagram, in whatever system we are representing in the DFD. Okay, so what are the objectives of DFD? Firstly, to define what is meant by structure analysis, then to define the simple symbols used in DFD, and to draw the context diagram and refine DFD a more detailed level. Okay, so various levels we'll be studying. Structured analysis. So what is structured analysis? A widely used top-down method for defining system inputs, processes and outputs. Let's first see the diagrams. So these are the various symbols that are used in a DFD. Okay, a square or a rectangle represents the external entity. This kind of a diagram, or usually this lower part does not exist. Okay, it's just a square with a small rectangle on top. So this represents a process. Then a sideways opened box represents a data store where we are storing the data, and the arrow represents the data flow from one place to another. Now here you can see a DFD of a travel agent booking system. Now here see, this is the customer. We saw, what does a rectangle show? The external entity. Okay, so the customer is the external entity, means outside the system. Okay, the customer then sends data for travel query. Okay, so the data flows from the external entity to the process. Okay, this is a processing box that is holding all the information for flight booking. Okay, this flight booking then sends the information to the flights and books the flights. Now here all the data is stored. This is a data store. So all the information or the data related to the available flights and the already booked tickets and seats is stored here. Okay, then this sends back the available flights. This available flights is processed, and then a booking is done, and then a booking confirmation is again sent to the customer. So this is the basic structure of a travel agent booking system. Means here also we are using a MIS. Okay, then here also you can see data flow diagram of part of an order processing system. So this is the usual example that is shown in a lot of books as well. So the customer is again the external entity. The customer then feeds in the data and accesses the data. Okay, so we as customers place an order. You can understand this by relating it to how you place an online order. You may have at some point in your life bought something online. Okay, so you can relate this example with your purchase experience, and then you will understand it better. Okay, so you order something. Okay, you place an order. This order is then processed. Okay, and checks the available stock. Once the stock is available, it then checks the back orders for confirming whether the available order is not counting the back orders. Back orders means, for example, there are only 100 units available. Okay, and only 70 have been processed and 30 are in back order. Okay, but I am the 101st customer to place the order. So I will not be able to get the actual product because there are already 100 orders being placed. So it checks from the back orders and then creates an invoice. Okay, if there are back orders, it sends me a out of stock notice. If it is not out of stock, then it processes my order and sends me the invoice, and also dispatches the order note to the warehouse. Warehouse means, what is a warehouse?
And where we store products.
Yes, it's a storehouse or a storage place where all the stock is stored. Okay, all the inventory is stored here. So these are the two external entities that are involved in this system. This is a part of the order processing system. Understood, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Then we come to structured analysis. Okay, a widely used top-down method for defining system inputs, processes and outputs. It shows how information flows through a system using several diagrams showing progressively more and more detail at each level. So a structured analysis of the DFD is done for finding out more specific uses of the data that is flowing through the system. Okay, and the primary tool of structured analysis is the DFD. So through the DFD or through use of DFD, we can do structured analysis of any system. Okay, like we just did structured analysis of this agent booking system and of the order processing system. Okay, so it is easier to understand. Then we come to context diagram. A top level DFD shows the least amount of details and is known as a level 0 DFD or context diagram. Now DFD has various levels. Okay, there are basically 3 levels of DFD. We will study about these levels in more detail. I'm just giving you an overview of these levels. So the first level is level 0 or context diagram. It shows a system as a single process with inputs and outputs flowing to and from external entities. So like here, we are not showing the internal processes. Okay, this is the same order processing system. We're not showing the processes that go on in the order. We just show how the external entity is interacting with the process, and both the external entities are exchanging information. Okay, but in actual, this is the order processing system, and see these processes are happening internally where it is checking the stocks and back orders. Alright, so this is a level 0 DFD where we only show what are the interactions between the external entity and the process. Then second is level 1 DFD where it will split up that single process into subsystems and show more details about the data flow and data stores. And finally level 2 DFD may decompose a single subsystem even further. Okay, so we'll study about how each of these levels are created and the features of each level in detail in the next class. Okay, so we'll stop here. Please go through this PPT. I'll upload this on Moodle platform. Please go through it, read through it, and in the next class we'll discuss it in more detail. Okay.